with Africa.
Right.
Africa's a continent that has 100,000 cultures in it. Okay?
Yeah.
There are people that live right next door to each other in Africa, like 200 miles away from each other, and are as different as, say, Irish from Korean.
Right.
And I mean, in Africa, both black people.
Right.
Okay, but your culture and way is so different from my culture and way, yet we both Africans, we both black.
Right.
Now, we don't experience that in America. In America, you go to California, it's black folk.
Right.
There's a slight difference.
Right.
They're black folk.
A little twang
A little
in the
twang.
slang.
You go to the South, it's a little something different, but it's a little Florida, okay? New York, whatever,
Right.
okay? But imagine these differences of people magnified by humanity itself.
Right.
Look at how we act right here in the United States.
Right.
This is how Africa was acting 10, 20, 30,000 years ago. Even just 5, I was going to say. We was wilding. We was straight bugging. Look at us right now. Look at African Americans.
Okay.
Okay, just the whole of us right now. If we ever united, Africa would unite.
Everywhere.
Because although we look at the slave trade as a Holocaust, and it was, we also can see that a lot of Africa was united in slavery. We were brought here to America. Some of us also came here willingly to the United States. We all here. Africa is not united. We can see that, right? You can turn the news on and see that. Africa is not united,
Right.
okay? But all of the African people are in the United States.
Yes.
So if this thing called African American would ever unite,
And all.
all of Africa will
man, if
unite
everybody stand
here in
up,
the
the
United
game over
States.
Right.
Now,
That goes for every part.
After the laws.
Like there's government oppression.
what
all
is
that
our
shit will collapse.
Constitution? Like, what is the law? What is it? This is what we need. African, if you say African Americans, we're talking about our people. Where's our African American Constitution? This is what we need. A constitution. We come together, the greatest thinkers. Our minds, it might take us a year, 2 years to get it together, but we argue and think this thing out.
Indeed.
And we come up with an African American Constitution
Interesting.
that says
Why haven't we done that?
Well, because you haven't, we haven't had this discussion.
Right, right.
No, you're making history because
People don't talk about
you're
real
asking
facts
people
these days.
what
They
the
talk about
solutions
bullshit.
are. And this is, of course, just one solution. Hopefully those that are listening to us are being inspired to think.
Right. And then in the past, when I asked that question, obviously the Panthers had their code. I mean, different groups have, the Nation of Islam, they have their rules and
What about the word
regulations
of
and time that you
government?
have to put in to get to the levels of the nation.
Government.
There is code, but an actual
Right.
constitution in the same way that from the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Federation, all having, because even what people sometimes, where I find what you did really interesting is the way that the actual Constitution is broken down, and the three different types of government, Gus, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and where the ruling actually, because if you set that up in the same way, you still have to have, the judicial aspect of it, you have to have the executive aspect of it, and then where we
Government's
vote,
not for
that would be
people.
interesting because each of those articles are kind of refer to those different people. So we would then have to set up some type of hierarchy and government amongst our
I said, there
ourselves.
shouldn't be people up there and people down here. Everybody should be equal.
Constitution, we gotta have
There
our own
shouldn't be none
government.
of this.
Now we're getting to the solution.
Right.
Once African Americans are sovereign,
My favorite word, actually.
we don't have no more problems, or at least the problem isn't squarely on us.
Right. That's that's back to my turban. That's my belief, the sovereignty within. I am self-governed. So to
That's
be
what I'm saying.
self-governed as
Govern
an individual,
ourselves. We don't need
but
someone
then to be
telling us what to
self-governed
do on a
within our
daily
own
basis.
community is even saying so.
Wake
Well,
up, do
this
this,
is
go to
you
work,
just
be
laid
here
out
at
the
this
math.
time.
A
You can be
self-governed
free for real.
individual is the citizen of a self-governed community.
Wow.
You can't be a citizen and not be self-governed.
They can't be. They
That's
don't
why I'm
get
jamming.
Right.
People just can't.
Facts.
But a true citizen
Plugged
has
into the
already
wall.
governed his or herself, so that you can join a community of others that are willing to govern themselves.
Like a
Meaning, I'm not gonna kill you. You ain't gonna kill me. I'm not robbing you. You ain't robbing me. I'm not lying. You're not lying to me. We're not.
Because I have my own code. I have my own within it.
As a matter of fact, I can hand it to you.
Right.
Here's my code.
Right.
Nice and yours.
Right.
I know what you about. You know what about. Originally, it was the Bible.
Original.
For America.
For America.
For America, it was the Bible. And even that's argued. But in American history,
right,
it's the Bible.
Right.
Where we sat down, you know, you have
Roman Catholicism.
Roman is actually passed down. That's what it actually is.
Right.
But that was the unifier.
Right.
That's what we all came around.
And it worked for a certain group of people.
Before, even longer than that, but it in America, and it's funny because 2019, 16, 19, 2019.
Exactly 400 years ago.
400 years. On my birthday, August 20th, is the exact day.
August 20th
Wow.
is birthday. What time is that?
20 daggers.
Right.
Jamestown, Virginia.
Wow.
August 20th. But the point is that where's our...
You know what August 20th is usually
Right.
all the time?
You mentioned Roman Catholicism and also just the idea of, well, the Bible itself. This is the importance of religion in society. And I mentioned the word religion.
Right.
Not spirituality.
Yeah, that's
Religion.
crazy.
Okay,
That's
religion
the name. How
inside.
spiritual.
The religion.
Okay, well, to bring you
together.
okay?
Right. The rules and regulations.
And from God. Okay? And so, but this is the point of it, is that when you're building civilization, we make ourselves brothers.
Right.
We are not brothers until we have the same father, until we have the same parent.
Right.
It's our mother that makes us brothers. We'll never be brothers. Even brothers are not brothers
Right.
until they recognize it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the mother. Listen, I would say the mother.
The mother.
Unite the mother. You know, they recognize the parent.
Right.
Okay. Without God, we ain't brothers.
Yeah, without the Most High, the
Say
Creator.
that again. Without God, we ain't brothers.
We ain't brothers, or sisters, or family,
Right.
or better yet, human.
Right.
So, the ancient African never believed in a God in the sky. We know this. Please.
Right,
Okay?
right.
We were studying astronomy.
You're right.
We knew what was in the
We
sky.
knew what was going on.
Okay. But the concept, the state concept of religion,
Right.
if there's just one thing that we all come from,
Right.
I don't have to know you. You ain't
I
got
don't
to
know how to
know
do
me.
them, though. How you doing?
This is the thing that we all know we come
Oh,
from.
yeah.
Right.
We can form a nation.
We can form a nation out of that. If it's the almighty Ra is a representative, if it's the allegory that makes it easier for you to digest, if it's easier for me to explain it to my child and pass it down when I text up at the start,
Yeah.
that's how I can define religion.
Yeah, that's
for
what I'm saying.
everyone to
Spread
get
that
on one
knowledge.
accord.
That's
And
something.
it doesn't have to be any beef in what I believe and what you believe, because when we look up, we see the same thing.
Yeah.
Akhenaten, Nefertiti.
Same
Beautiful.
Here's the Aten.
thing. Yeah.
Shines on us all.
Right.
I don't got one. Go in there.
Look at it. We can all
Very simple.
brings everyone together around one concept.
Great story. Great
Great
story.
story.
Right. And that idea we're getting to, because just to go a little deeper with losing anyone, to go to the idea of energy
Look
and
out the
organ.
clouds. They
And
definitely
then once
playing
you
the clouds.
understand
Look at 'em.
everything that is in the skies inside of us, and that we have that same power in the God within, and that even in explaining what's going on in the stars, from a novice standpoint, you can say you are that, and I am that with this in the God within me. That concept should be for everybody to grasp, to say that we are all one, because ultimately that's what we're trying to get to in this self-governed sovereignty exists, to say if we are all brothers under this one existence, this one source, that in energy is transferable and never dying, then there must be this easy concept for us to say we're all related. You're my brother. How do we coexist together?
It should
Come
be.
together as people.
But there's a word that we have to interject into our conversation. It's called imperialism.
Okay. that's a heavy one. I didn't know that was going to be the word.
Inject that in.
Yeah.
Imperialism.
Because that doesn't come from Africa, or does it?
Well, that comes from Africa.
Right.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right.
Real
But
Africa
the
is.
mind, or the concept of
The way we're
imperialism.
using imperialism, should I say, white European colonialism, colonists.
Right.
The
People are just
Phoenicians
trolling.
were colonists. The
Ain't
Egyptians,
no
the
life.
Cushites, they
Right.
all ran from other people's land.
Right.
Someone said wicked
Shop.
toenails.
Absolutely.
Some
I need your
people-
toenails to
most
make
people
a.
wanted them there. They were
It was
like,
an exchange.
it was an exchange.
You bringing this from your land, I'm bringing this from my
and we
land.
allow you to stay here. You from
Nothing
here,
wrong
but
with
we
him.
want you here.
Right.
That's still a form of colonization. It's still
Right.
a colony,
Nothing
but it's
wrong
not like
It's not imperialism where I'm taking over you.
I'm a bomb,
Right.
guns,
Sickness.
attack dogs, and sickness.
Right.
Oh, that's a different thing.
Right.
Now, when that's your society,
Can
the
the kick out this
simplest
shit, huh?
things like you just mentioned are impossible.
Right.
I mean, they are literally impossible. Justice is impossible.
Peace upon
And
them.
that's the first thing that goes away in a colonial society. We chilling, sitting here talking just like we are right now. And some people come
They
through
people
the door
crazy.
and rope us both up. You may fight.
I mean, I'm about to say, we got to put them hands on
we
them.
gotta
Put them hands on
look
them.
what our ancestors were up against. Look at what some of our ancestors beat these people down. You don't hear of them in history.
Right.
But they got
They
beat
still
down.
over there.
They got
Who?
beat down. But imagine
No, not
you
at all.
chilling like this and somebody
They gonna come
and a
back down
bomb
here.
goes off. Boom.
Mm.
You like this, yo, right? Yo, before you even know it, dogs are coming.
Mm.
You fighting it, the smoke in the air. After a while, you're subdued through terrorism.
Right.
Now you can still be thinking, I'm gonna get out of this, but you're subdued, you're roped up, you're seeing your people.
Against my will.
Against your will. Now, if this is how it started, things like justice, unity, God,
The people.
mercy, forgiveness, intelligence,
That's why religion is stupid.
understanding. When I
Ain't
say
no
intelligence,
damn-
understanding. These things are impossible.
This is an eternal
Now we
spirit.
jump to another level, and not to get too deep into it, but there's a saying that says that in a society that is based on
Mm.
you can do anything.
Wow.
So, yeah, we in a situation where the simplest thing
But I
like
believe
these
like
are
people that lie the
joy.
most get the head farther ahead than the people that add more and don't want to lie and deceive people.
You can't have it in a colonial
Yeah.
situation. In fact, colonialism it's present
Deception.
on those things.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we can't have that. But now, you mentioned God. Anything you give a God is good for a God.
Mm.
Okay.
Anything you give
Anything
a God
to a God is good for a God.
Anything you give the devil is
The-
bad for the devil. Like in
Right.
other words, you give
He's
the
gon-
devil something good.
And he's going to turn it bad. Right.
The devil something bad. He gonna make good out of that.
Yeah, he going to do what the devil's supposed to do with it.
Boom.
Devilish
Your
thing.
nature. Is your nature God? Yeah, my nature is God. So here's the point. We want you to take this and
So you right on top of it. I see
so
where
the
you're going.
God
Right.
takes shoot poison in the mouth, gone. But guess what comes out? The cure.
Sure.
If you live in a society of lies,
That's all on the podcast. Get a
that
nice
means you
camera.
can do anything.
We can use this.
Right.
You can be
The camera I have.
anything. You can basically.
Because these cameras are good.
Let's leave old for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay? Put the
You
truth
ever
to
seen
the
a
side.
computer
I'm having
camera?
too much fun with
Yeah,
these
with these
lies.
Come on,
fantasy-
real.
That's
these
what it is.
fairy
That's-
tales.
That's the proper word.
Fantasy.
Fantasy. I'm having too much fun in the fantasy
Yeah.
to face reality.
The Matrix.
Here we go.
We stuck in the Matrix.
I know
And then they
you're
put
gonna
movies
do
out
this.
there.
Well, you open.
I'm ready, man.
This is where we at. So the question then becomes, first, and this goes back to leadership too. You know, what kind of person are you?
Are you a god or you a devil?
Are you a god or you a demon? The
Going
word,
on,
our
people.
ancestors used the word demon.
Mm.
To a D-man, to not man.
Yeah.
Man is man.
Right.
To a not man is a demon.
To take the humanity out
Out
of
of it. To not be human.
Right.
That's the demon.
Demon.
The demon.
Right.
That's it. So either you
Demon.
that, and that's your nature too.
And then they
Let's
say
let
demonic.
this move
Uh,
on to
yeah.
the universe.
Yin and the yang.
This is you, dog.
Then we always talk about the yin yang
You can't
duality.
have this without that.
Yeah.
You the devil.
Right. Play your position.
Play your role. But you ain't faster than God.
Yeah.
No, we way faster than you.
Yeah.
You go ahead and play the role.
You there just so people know that I am God.
That's what you need to say.
Mm.
That's the revelation. You there so that people can know who the real sovereign is.
We
That's
real.
why you there.
Watch this about 1,000 times.
Me too.
I already know that. This is my sermon to get up every day. I can already feel it.
You've lived 1,000 times already, and this is, and that's why I thank you too for your contribution. I mean, look what you're doing to the fabric of history and to the actual
Food, the conversation.
February. And
Everybody this
is the February we should
Should've
be
said
thinking
we go right to the store.
seriously.
For real.
Who are we? What did we achieve? What does it mean to be black?
What else you got on the top? Right?
And it's even the title, black.
Right. Is that what we call it?
Is that what we call it? We need a convention
I
that
do.
ends with our Constitution.
I ain't eating the meat, but I eat the broth.
We do.
For
That's real. That's
African
action. That's real
That's
action.
real, right? Let's
That
do
sounds
that.
banging.
And talk
That
about this
sound real good.
in this way.
That's like
I'm gonna
Thanksgiving
introduce
before
you.
Thanksgiving.
The idea of laws.
Right.
With the Constitution, we set out what our African American
Nigga, for what?
nation is.
Man,
Okay.
forget them.
When we do that,
Gotta be greedy.
we have a court.
You can make
system.
macaroni to
We have our own-
Our own courts.
Okay, once you have law, you have a court. You just need a building. Okay, number one, somebody to interpret the law.
The supreme justice.
The supreme justice, right? That he's going to represent
Yeah,
the law.
like-
Shit, he's going to represent that law. So, what I'm getting at is, with our own law and court, we cannot be arrested ever again. In fact, we start arresting people. This is the African American challenge going into the future. So a new president or a new president that's coming in is that when we talk about the protection of our community, the main issue is that we can't arrest others when they harm us.
Okay.
The law is one way in the United States.
We see that.
It's one way. It's white law on everything.
Right.
But white people follow no one else's laws. Like the Native Americans as a nation, we should all be following their laws.
Their law. It's their land.
It's their land. We should be following. African Americans should come together. Latino. What is the Latino law? I should know. And when I'm in their community, follow.
Follow.
Their law probably should be competing each other in law.
To
saying that
come up with the best
the
law.
best law. That's
Right.
ours amongst
I'm
scholars,
gonna have it right.
Latino, Native American, Asian, Persian.
All come to the table and say our law is justified in this way. Can I see your law so we can help better
We can help
everyone's
better-
law?
And now we create global law.
Right.
And now we
Instead of
peace
just
on
having
earth
one
because
person
we
ruler.
all- Not this.
Everybody got their own
We
separate.
bombs and guns, get on your knees. That's the law.
Now, just to take you one area for a second, and because this is a real question that I often ask in times like, or the Bilderberg, or Trilateral Commission. These are things that we're set up to believe are what the novice would call something like the Illuminati.
Yes.
But to your point, they believe they are doing exactly what you just said.
Right.
Yeah, the
Some of the
Illuminati
most
was
powerful
stolen.
people in Germany will come to the table. Some of the
Yeah,
most powerful,
the real
powerful
lame
people in
ones were
America,
the beings
some of the
that
most
brought
powerful
light
people in
and
they all
darkness,
sit at the
yeah.
table once a year and discuss how to come together. That idea of a one world government has been embedded in our mind to be something of danger and something that,
That's what they
you know,
still
this
trying to do now,
idea
the one world
of
government.
monotheistic,
New
everyone on
world
the same
order is
page,
one world
therefore
government.
everyone
That's
is
what
ruled by
NATO's
one
there
God,
for.
one understanding,
Right.
which is extremely
They
dangerous.
still trying to do it to this
Uh,
day.
But
Right.
if everyone's at the table, that could be where peace and unity is. So I'm torn to when someone speaks of the Illuminati or even these real organizations that I just named. Are they doing bad or are they doing good?
They're doing bad. All the ones
Are
in
they
place are
God
doing
or
bad. I like to know
evil?
that.
or demons?
Well, when you mention organizations like the Bilderberg Group or let's just say the
Yeah, the banks are evil.
okay, that's what they are.
Yeah.
When you say
Now,
trilateral commission or
the central banking
the
system.
central banking system, basically what that is.
Right. Or money, men of power.
Money, same thing.
That's what I mean. Because the only thing is when we say banks, then
What
we
the
start
fuck?
talking over people's heads, and
What?
they thinking,
Right.
you know, Chase and J.P. Morgan and all
Okay.
that. I'm saying
It's
right
just,
now,
you gotta realize, you
all
don't
the
have people
bread
come out here and just say
are sitting
stupid
down making
thing,
rules
you know
for
what I
us
mean?
above Donald Trump.
I even know that time I was
Those
watching
days
Mad Papa, and he
chase
actually stopped
Right.
and got mad last night because someone was
Baby,
throwing
he's
him
got
so bad.
Right.
Rockefeller.
That ass serious. You gotta watch my story that was.
Bob
He got up
Marley
and
said
left because
something
they kept talking, and they sent him money in chat
He
just
said,
so they could read his comment.
None,
And he
said,
got up.
Emancipate
But people do that.
yourself from mental
They be
slavery.
trolling. They just had nothing better to do.
None but ourselves
Now, if
can
you say
our
something back
minds
like your mother eat a glizzy,
have no fear for
you can go back and
atomic
forth. You know
energy.
what I mean?
'Cause none of them can
You don't
stop
show no
the
negativity. You
time.
know.
Stop it. Bars.
Bars.
Bars. The prophet spoke.
Get on the live. Go ahead. Let me see.
Okay. These groups, okay,
You
are
just
not
send a true
above
enlightened being at
nature,
y'all, right? Get 'em.
universe,
Full
and
card on
God.
their head.
True disasters prove that every time.
Every day. When we look at these groups, we are looking at what they are
I ain't got time for that.
advertising
Nope.
themselves to us as. This is a propaganda and perception game.
Indeed.
When you get into it,
You know, the right side, right,
forgive
with
me,
the
those
thing
that are
going?
listening, I'm not going to
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's gonna be on another session. We just
I'm not
scratching
gonna
the
get into
surface
it.
now.
Actually, just-
But I need it. I need it.
I'm not going to give away some of the symbols of Freemasonry in this public forum.
Because other than it wouldn't be what
I just got
established to
dark
be.
Respect.
They spraying and blocking the sun, yo.
But I will say, I can say this. Deception is what rules nations. Go back to the fantasy. You can have whatever you want in a fantasy,
You gotta paint the picture.
but fantasy is based on deception. Now,
The devil's greatest trick is proving that he never existed.
That's a fact.
that's ball. Well, these groups, they are designed to deceive. There's no truth in them. So the one who is
Except for to say, hey, look over here.
look over, well, that's about it. So look over, that is about trying to get my direction over here.
That's the Illuminati. We gotta hate them.
That's right.
The reason why I'm failing in life.
That's right. These rich folk, the 1%
What?
is the reason why I'm failing.
Yeah.
Instead of self-reflecting.
Well, my wife has an acronym that says BLAME. Because looking at me ain't easy.
That's a powerful queen you got over there.
She's the point.
Because looking at me ain't
He's blame. And this is the point with blame, is that no, you're the master of your reality. If you can understand that. You live in a fantasy if you can understand that.
the matrix.
Well, then you ask yourself, with all this crime that has been going on, and all this, and go back to your question about these societies and so on, none of them is above nature. None of them. So as long as you know nature, God, the universe, or should I say God, universe, nature, that's your gun. G-U-N, God, universe, nature. Remember that gun. I'm putting a weapon in your hand. God, universe, nature. And you fight back.
Wow.
When you have that gun in your hand,
That's how you write?
nothing. They say, do, are, be, nothing. Nothing. Now, how do
Yeah,
I
that's
know?
why our handwriting, a lot of us, you know.
Hip hop.
Bring it back.
1970s, all these organizations against us.
My brother
Every
did.
last one secret society knew about.
Right.
Government agencies.
FBI, CIA, KKK.
Go back on this. The entire strength of this colonial system was against our parents.
All right.
The entire, not just one agency.
The entire.
The entire government was against our parents that had nothing
Yeah, this,
except one gun. God, the universe, and
Nature.
they defeated that government. The government you have now exists
Yeah.
because our parents destroyed the last. They're not, the enemy is never going to tell you when they lost.
write history.
Right, the winners
write history.
We won. There was a war that went on after the Civil War. In fact, the Civil War never ended.
Never.
No, it's
But
not.
right after the Civil War, on the battlefield,
Reconstruction.
Reconstruction jumped off, and I wouldn't even call it. I mean, that's just
Reassemblization.
yeah, like you know what? Reconstruction is the word in history. Emancipation, procrastination. I mean, proclamation. That's also the word in history.
Right.
So we use these terms, but the point is that the war never ended.
Yeah.
And our people are not fighters. As Africans, we're not that retarded.
Right.
We're the nerds of the world.
Oh yeah, that's the
We have
neighborhood
so
cat.
much power that we don't have to enforce it
We
on.
don't have to. We are the itself. Imagine, they're fighting against us just being.
God don't fight.
God don't have to. Go back there. They had everybody against us. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream that one day you racists are going to be sitting there. Eminem is going to be sitting with Dr. Dre. That's what he said. I have a dream. Okay, that one day on third base we're going to be doing a concert with De La Soul.
Beastie Boys
He got
and Run
hit in the mouth, too.
DMC.
Boys and why can I forget?
Yeah.
See, this is, but imagine now, either we gonna look at the king, Dr. King, and that was just a fun speech.
All the way.
All the way true in the king, true in us. So here you have a man speaking 1963. He's talking to the nation, to the world. He says, I have a dream
One thing
of
good on you.
unity, where we all can come together. Look at the vision of this is African American enlightenment,
The promised land.
the promised land. This is it right here, okay?
He be running miles on that thing.
Only a few people supported Dr. King. When he gave his speech, after he gave his speech, and we died. Oh, it was killed. The prophet is never welcome in his own home. And so we look at the words of our prophet, and I'm just saying Dr. King, his Garvey, Kwame Ture,
Somebody was fucking them
Malcolm
shit
X,
up.
and I mentioned them, we keep them up and you know them.
Man, you good.
Delaney. But we don't heed their message. We don't heed their message. And it's not a criticism of our people. We've been trained to be objective to our education. So even though we learn about our ancestors, we never become them. We can learn all day about great men and women of our ancestry, but we will never continue them.
Because their energy is eternal.
They're with us right,
Right
now.
now.
You can tune into it.
Right.
But if you got a word like Illuminati in your head, that very word,
Blockage.
you can't see nothing. They run everything. They are God.
They're more powerful
They're
than I am.
I am. They're everything. They're sitting back, just like you are watching the same television you watch.
Right.
And they're just as afraid. They click on, Revolt
What did he say?
TV.
If they only knew how much power they had. That's what they really said.
They watch it, they say, oh, if they only knew.
If they could just bring it all together, they'd be a dangerous force.
Don't let them know. Don't let them know the power they have, because if
Let's
they
keep them confused.
keep them confused, keep them arguing amongst each other,
Throw some media at
throw
them.
some media at them. And this is the sick part, okay? Here's the sick piece. It's not our children that are affected by this. These are intellectuals that are affected by this.
Facts.
The smarter you get, it seems the dumber you get. The smarter our intellectuals become, the more cowardly they become. This has to do with this colonial education we're getting, because I know some great black minds. I'm in the university system. I see these minds. I talk. People, great minds. But that paycheck is going to dictate what's going to come out that mind. Or come out your mouth of that mind.
And the paycheck is based off of that other piece of paper that they got to affirm their base.
I got master's degree.
Therefore, I get paid more.
I get paid.
Therefore, I'm controlled by your system.
I know the truth, but let me not speak to that right now.
Because I can't. I gotta feed my family.
Right. Now, feeding your family is way more important than speaking the truth for people that's going to treat you like they did Dr. King. If there were a reward to speaking truth, more people would.
That's crazy.
Indeed.
Well, there's no
That's not where the
reward.
bag is. Like you said, the bag is in the fantasy.
That's and so here we are. We're sowing to it, of course. But we don't need education. We don't need this education.
Because we have wisdom.
We have being.
Right.
We are. And the more we love who we are, you'll find in the fantasy, you'll find us, we like to dabble into the truth every once in a while. We say,
that would be me.
You know, let me get to the truth and see what it really, really is. Those are the leaders. Those are the people, and not just those who stay in the truth, but those who can differentiate between truth and fantasy, right and wrong, good and evil, good and bad, discipline and evil. Those that can do that are the leaders. But that's not a thing that's done. That's a thing that's lived. Principle. So when the principle is established, the leadership will come out of that principle. There's our leader right there. Our leader is watching us right now. And she is probably deciding. They are probably deciding what type of leader they can be. And let me also say this. You know, it'd be really interesting.
What's that?
If black people, and this is such a verse, I'm going to bring this up. Totally it right here. That black people, African Americans, hired white leadership. Now here's why. Because the idea of race, which we might not be able to have time to get into here, the fictitious idea of race, is something that African Americans have to deal with as well when we talk about leadership and building our nation, because the concept of race is a colonial concept in and of itself. So in a paradox, for us to have,
Flip it on his head.
if we flip it on his head, we're back to white leadership or some other leadership other than ourselves to prove that our community is beyond
With the pack.
what the past community.
So, but isn't a quick way to fix that, or even just to put it on a lame terms, I always say, we all gonna be beige anyway.
Word.
So why does, if we all, if we have the same level of melanin in the next few generations.
Oh, that's it.
Maybe before things
Then
get
let's
man.
redefine black.
Right.
Huge black.
Original man. We all
Original
come
man.
from the soul.
Okay.
And then that's what we're trying to get back to.
Right.
And ultimately, that's the trajectory and what we're going.
As well are black.
You're right. So, and they just lack pigmentation or lack melanin.
Which is the truth. Right? Just on another level.
And that's lack melanin, where they they have these insecurities or these insufficiencies, scared of that power stuff that we embrace. So that's
Oh, wait a minute. No. They also have efficiency. They're willing to unite around that inefficiency. We can't see
they
that.
have to.
And so, they have to unite around that inefficiency. In a way, I wish we was white,
Because then
we would unite fully. We'd have, what is the reason for black people to unite? There is none. We are the That's what we
and we have too much ego. But the idea, if we know who we are, we know can overcome. Why do we need to come together?
Back to spirituality. See, religion does lead to individualism. Your
Son,
personal
you can't
relationship
take
with
back.
God. We are brothers in a state religion. Because the religion says the sun is where we all come from. You see the sun, we all is under the sun. But it's the sun that's united. I'm still an individual. And nature is weird like this because nature is individual. The retina in your eye is only yours.
Only mine.
My fingerprint is only mine. There's only one KRS.
Right.
There's only one.
But it's all created by the one mathematical.
Right. Which makes us one. We all have two arms, leg, arm, and
Okay.
as you used to say back in the day, arm, leg.
I better just let it go. Like,
Right. We all.
Yeah.
Okay. But are we? And this is nature. This is the breathing of nature, the yin and yang of nature. Night and day is at the same time. It's just how the earth is known. The fist is the hand, or is the palm. Like, where did the fist go? The fist is still here. Where did the hand go? The palm. No, this is the fist. Everything's still here. Perception. So, how do we perceive ourselves? How do we perceive our nation? How do we perceive the future? And if you and I can unite on how we see things, and you create reality. And that's freedom. To create your own reality.
I'm living my own truth.
I'm my own truth. Or in this instance, for civilization, we are living our truth. That gets back to now, whether it be a religion, a group, or something like that is what we have to deal with because of the nature of the environment we're in. But you touched on something in individuality is still important. It's very important. Right? And there lies the unanswerable question that leads to being as opposed to knowing.
And then the purpose, hopefully, is to commune, to create a community, or the unity with it, is because if we don't commune, we no longer exist. So even as much as we want to be individual and have our own beliefs, every organism needs another organism.
That's what everybody
in
does.
order to keep going
Everybody
forward.
posts
So
moments with their
I would
kids.
take the concept and going back to when we originally started to talk about how leadership, how do we together, just to touch on universal law. So we're going to talk about law. If there are things that are established that we know. I always say this at the beginning of our classes, but this time I am truly honored for this very, very special session of Cannon's class, just because not only am I a fan, I consider myself a student,
but it is colonization. There's a foreign government in your land taking your resources. They pay it, and you get yours, but they're taking yours. There's going to be nothing for your children.
They're not hijacking you with guns, they hijacking you with material.
That comes the question. Who are you?
That
Are you
motherfucker
that
wrong.
material?
I call him wrong.
And you be one like that because there's other Africans there that are now terrorists.
He act like
They're
wrong.
saying, we don't want none of these people in our country. We're going to take armed struggle against them. They're called terrorists. So either you want to be that, because you say we ain't allowing no colonialism in our country,
Or you want to be complacent and go with the past.
complacent and go with world domination, contribute to world domination. But then if you know, as the king, you say, wait a minute, this shit's a fantasy. The whole thing's a fantasy.
Can't be real. You guys
It's not real. You guys ain't real. None of this is real. So at the end of the day, go ahead and take the oil fields. Go ahead and take this. And why? The true African resource, or should I say black resource in this instance, outside of color, the true human resource is the mind. We never lost our lands. We lost our minds. We never lost it. The land's still there. We don't have the mind to go get it.
Another bar. Another bar.
We need the mind to go get the land. It's just that we lost our land. Africa right there.
We didn't lose our land, we lost our mind.
You say you coming up here?
Okay, so we went super deep.
There we got way out.
Yeah. So now to reel it back out and just and we'll take another play on words because people don't know the first blueprint came from KRS-One. I would like to just for our audience and for people who are truly seeking knowledge and want to be independent, a quick blueprint on how to get more of this type of information, so we can feed our community with just some tidbits and that idea. Like you brought me a care package of knowledge, but I would say if you had to, for the young people that are watching, a few books that deal with a lot of these topics, that a good introductory to the world of supreme understanding and understanding the knowledge itself. What would you recommend just if somebody, what the KRS-One book club?
Wow.
We were going to,
Wow, the book club. First I start my own.
right.
And not arrogantly. What we're discussing is not in you'll get a piece here and a piece there, but what this level of discussion is a discussion. I was here for 1 more hours like this, tune in to this.
Cannon class, we got it right here.
Right here. There's really, and that's not true. There gotta be a book out there.
Yeah, they would just bring it over here.
I have not come across books that discuss African American sovereignty.
We gotta write it.
We have to write.
We gotta write it.
At least start talking.
Yeah.
And somebody else there got to be talking like this and that. And actually, I know somebody's out there right now going, no, this.
Yeah.
And we need to know that.
Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. We definitely need to know that. But in my study, I have not seen a strong conversation, a book dedicated to what we discussed here today.
Right.
In American sovereignty, some of the issues surrounding leadership, and where our people need to go, how our
Best
people
thing for you. Whatever.
spirituality connected to the political game plan, the importance of religion. No, I don't see. So right at the top, I'll say knowledge like this, awareness like this comes from within. Trust your ancestors. A lot of what I learned, I didn't learn through books. I learned through travel. Rap music gives me the
Travel.
I'm everywhere.
To see all the spirits around.
Everywhere. And I know you got stories.
Yeah.
Okay? We land in these countries. You know,
And they offer their culture.
they are. Wait,
This is how we rock. And let it show.
and proud to show.
Yeah.
Okay? But let me tell you this too. In other cultures, they study us too. So I'm going to your question about where's this knowledge? The French have a huge history on African Americans, but it's in French. It's a completely different history than we have here. Germany,
Their perspective.
Germany has a history on African Americans. All that they did when in Africa, Hitler,
Yeah, that 45 minutes.
we are only studying the English version of our
They
history.
be lying.
English version.
This is the only part of our history.
And then when you drive 25 minutes and still say 25 minutes, it's like, hold up. 20 minutes.
I don't know about Pooh, I haven't been there, but I
Ah,
More black people
they
down
set me
there.
a whole different way.
Next to Africa, that's the second
But
level.
after Reconstruction, races that lost the war, the Confederates went to South America.
America.
That's where they set up shop. Okay, our history's there too. So first and foremost, as advice.
That revolution, that Haitian revolution.
Oh, come on. That caused the Louisiana Purchase.
Yep.
Napoleon stopped protecting us in Florida.
Yep.
Causes Dubai. So if you look at our history globally, you see African American history more clearly. That's what our story is about. That's what this theme.
Next.
The next book here called Black House.
Hot off the press.
And I'm still writing. I'm finishing it up. I was actually at the conclusion of it, and I'm finishing it. That's just a present to
I
you.
appreciate it. I got it first.
Yes, you did. That's real talk. And that's what we go into here is to say that there is a history. We know. But then there is an out story, and that's a new word too. Out story.
I see that, and I was like, what? I'm like, oh, not his story, but our story.
Our story. But it's a new word. Our story. Okay? It's the subjective study of your history. Where you have to become your ancestors in order to know them. So you continue God in order to know Him.
Wow.
You continue
You continue Du Bois.
continue to continue these great minds. And even in
Booker T and WB. But they in conflict, they got it.
we are a product of that conflict. I'm both W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. And I can rationalize the two in my own head. I see it.
Am I gonna get money? I'm gonna go use these guns.
I'm a Du Bois.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But so come back to the question. I put a period on it. First, our discussion is not in books. You have to travel, get a passport. That's the first book you should get. Is a passport.
First book you should get is a passport.
Word.
That's the next thing. Passport.
That's the
That's
first
in the
book.
world.
Oh yeah. Make the ancestors for that. So the first book is a passport. Now after that, you have access to all knowledge. So cheap to travel the world. You can get around everywhere. You can go anywhere. Okay, anyway. live boat.
Where you get chips from, bro?
Have
Where
discussions
you get the barbecue on?
when you land. Talk to the guy. Go in the regular store. Go
How you be holding out on chips?
7-Eleven. Talk
Why
to
you
the
in her
person
room?
behind
She
the
had
thing.
stuff.
What's going
Go
on?
put one back.
Take a cab. Talk to the cab driver. Go
You know
to
that's
the
not true.
museum. Visit the library. Take in the city. You'll come back and read a book and be like, none of this happened. This is not the truth. I was there.
I saw it. I heard it from the source.
From the source. What are you writing? Well, this person's writing from an African American or whatever. They're writing from an American point of view or a single point of view, wherever that view is. They're writing from that view. No, you've traveled the world. You've seen things. You've studied languages. You know how to say please and thank you in 6 different, 8 different, 20 different languages. That's what you got to do. After you get your passport, learn how to say
put 'em off?
please and thank you
Right.
in
So they just
every
keep saying the
language you
same
can.
shit.
And she's beautiful.
Like a little kid.
That might go further. That might go much further.
What is this? What is this? What is
And
kept saying the same thing? What is this? What
now
is
the
this?
books.
Yeah.
George
Mind your
G.M.
business.
Ken's Stolen Legacy. I'd start right here as a philosopher. Any work by Dr.
Well, people
Cornel
get
West.
interested in they like stupid shit.
Okay.
We gotta get Dr. West in the class.
Oh, no
I need to
doubt.
learn from Dr.
Oh, no
West.
doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Anything by Dr. West. Of course, on hip hop,
And his name Cranky
I
Frankie.
would
That
refer
sounds-
to Michael Larry Dyson.
That sound like he live in the
Work
suburbs
in terms of hip hop. I'm highly
He's coming to the
critical.
class soon.
with the
too.
No, that was
Caucasians.
some good work. He
Caucasian.
did. He has several books, and he mentioned, the way he approaches hip hop in his work.
Right.
You
Don't
can
that
get it
sound
pretty
stupid
clear
as
in all
hell?
his work. But when I read
Cranky
what he
Frankie.
writes about hip hop, he's on it. He's actually on it. Read his work.
Yeah. Great
I
orator.
don't understand how
Great
people can do
orator.
that. They just really lie.
Read his
Yeah,
work.
like
There are the if you go
Don't have to
online,
join
I
it.
guess it's online. You can get the originals. But
they want people to give
the
reactions.
journal, it's called
It don't work that way.
The
Well,
Journal
you know what
of Negro History. I think that is right. By Carter Goodwin Woodson.
Oh yeah, Carter G.
The
Woodson.
Journal of Negro History.
Yeah. Or even the miseducation
that's
of
the
the
book.
Negro.
No,
Yeah, but
that's
I need
the
my
Go
hair.
ahead and get that too.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get right. The Miseducation of the Negro, but you should already have
You
it.
should have that one.
Actually, no, I'm not gonna put that on the list. You should already have that.
Cool.
You already had it.
Absolutely.
But no, but it's by the same author.
Right.
But I would say the Journal of Negro History, because in those journals is history that I still haven't heard said.
Wow.
The whole sexual, just to go on for a minute, the sexual relations between slaves and slavers.
Didn't make no
Not in
sense.
history.
Yeah, they scared to talk about it.
And it's always heterosexual sex or rape.
Happy
Nothing about
birthday,
gay
Money
rape,
Man
nothing
Baseball.
about consensual.
Yeah, somebody's birthday.
Nothing about the slave woman seducing
What?
the slave
It just
man.
said, hi, my birthday, can you shout it out?
This was
Thank you,
more
thank you.
prevalent
Happy
than all the
birthday,
rapes
Money Man.
This is more, not as prevalent, more.
There we go, Jeff.
Black women
Yeah, you couldn't get it in. They get mad at you.
Delaney sisters.
What's he say?
Read
What's he say?
I got the name of it. Come on, what am I doing? Look it up. You got it. The Delaney sisters, they talk about their 100, they lived on 103 and 102. They asked them about slavery.
Man, you
And they
almost
said,
gone.
if you weren't there, don't have an
You better
opinion.
save it.
Wow. Okay.
You
That's
better
they're
save
from
it.
Right.
Okay, listen. They said, if you
You
want
better save it.
complicated to just put to one little thing. He whipped me, he
You know,
raped me, and that was it.
holidays right there, you
No,
better
it
save
wasn't.
something for the
There's a
turkey day.
complex relationship going on here
Right.
between the oppressed
Huh?
and the oppressor. And the oppressor sometimes is the oppressed, which makes the
I don't know who that
oppressed of
is.
the oppressor feel
I don't
for
do
the
that no more.
oppressor and help out in the oppression.
And that's the mind
Is
control.
the food done? How about that?
Southern planter was the oppressed of the northern banker.
You should feel sorry for me, so therefore you should work for me.
And something.
Let's
Some
start
put a
there.
gun to his head and said, "I'm out of here." More people freed themselves that were enslaved.
Uh-huh.
We don't know that.
Wow.
I think that shit is
More
all
people
bullshit
free
anyway.
Then were
than
enslaved.
were enslaved.
We get this number, we get these million numbers. 4 million.
4 million is what they say.
Is what they say. But this number is over a 10-year period, and it ends at the Civil War.
So they say.
So they say. This 4 million, though, no one's talking about the fact, first of all, that man, it's too complicated. We're talking half of those 4 million that are called slaves are not even slaves. They're called slaves in colonial records.
Right.
They're not slaves. They're skilled laborers. No one's whipping them. Nobody's hanging them. Nobody's beating them. They have rights. Morgan Freeman just put out a new DVD that escapes me, but look at Morgan Freeman's Slavery in New York. He's talking about slavery in New York, and they changed the date of slavery now from 1619 to some other date now in the 1600s, and they say it starts in New York.
Yeah, because they lied about it, man.
Now because too many scholars put home.
They try to make it seem like motherfuckers
Right.
So that can't last no more.
Right.
So now it's
It's
this.
a new date.
It's a new date now, but y'all gonna be slaves. Okay? No, this idea of calling a black human being a slave is the crime to begin with. This is the first crime. No black human beings in the past were slaves. That is a white colonial racist designation for our parents. Our parents can
And the
never.
crazy part about it, we all slaves
They were
too.
skilled
Everybody got to work.
They
It's
were
just that
the ones
they
that came here
put
and planted
themselves
the
higher
rice,
up in the system
planted
than
the
us.
corn, planted
They
the
give them
tobacco,
an unfair
planted
advantage.
the weed, the marijuana, planted, they don't want to talk about that, planted,
what she said,
built the
right?
road. We came over as architects. We came over as
what?
astronomers,
Skilled labor.
skilled laborers. We would never slaves. Never, ever. That word is what is placed on us.
Sometimes it ain't all about.
If you look at it in all dictionaries, start with the Oxford English Dictionary, slavery is only
I
hard
don't know why,
labor.
because she's lonely and don't
We don't
have
need nothing
nobody.
Slavery, we make part of the slave. They're the two different words. And those scholars know the etymology on slave come from the Slavs, Russia, and then the Central Europe and where that word comes from. So how does it get applied to black folk again? It doesn't.
Yeah,
Slavery.
but
It's just hard labor. Just
like I
hard
said
labor. That's
before,
all
there's certain
slavery
things you
means.
say you can't
Drudgery,
take back.
hard work. If you are watching this interview right now and you just did hard work, you was in slavery.
You was enslaved.
We live in a world we give everybody the benefit of the doubt but keep treating us the same way.
Slave.
Oh, right. Okay, I see what you're doing. Yeah.
He was in slavery.
And then the conversations behind closed doors is wild. I know that's not the only people they talk about. They probably talk about everybody. You, me, you know what I
Or
mean?
the slave owner.
But it's just their character.
Abolished slavery, but the
That's our
slaves
character.
mean
We have
are
been known for that for
sovereign.
so
But when
long.
you're a slave, you are dependent on another. You are the slave. You are the dependent.
As we
I
all
can
are.
relate to that. They got
on
shitty
their
family
system,
members.
on their laws, on their medicine, on their
Ain't shit
education,
people
on
in
their...
everybody's family.
The minute we get that sovereignty, then we are actually not slaves in law. But legally, we still slaves right now.
I just said
That's where
that.
our birth certificate.
That's what it birthed to. Come on, you're a piece of property.
We're
You get
born
it.
into this debt system, and you have a piece
Yeah,
of paper
we
that
don't
someone
use it.
else owns, and they can buy and sell it at any time.
And they're buying and selling it. And that's what
Indeed.
Ancestry.com is.
Indeed.
I know you get all your records. What? Anyway, you gotta pay.
Just pay attention. That's what you got to do. You pay attention. That they. that's all it is.
You're right. We're all property now, but we're property in a fairness sense. Ain't no human being somebody's property. But now here's the point. But if you're gonna run around acting like property, if you're gonna run around of the fairness,
Slave mindset.
come on now, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. If you're going to allow yourself, see, this is why America is great. This is the greatest country in the world.
Fantasy corporation.
The fantasy, this is the great. This is why America's great. Because America will put the liquor store and the library on the same
That's why your
block
nose stinks.
and say it's up to you.
Make your choice.
Make your choice. You go to how can God, how can karma ever strike America? If your history, it's a balance, and the balance is on that $1 bill. You see it right there, the key, the balance. This is what it is, the deception. The ego faces
Ain't that lady?
two ways.
She older than that, ain't she?
Deception. If
But you can make your own choice.
They don't know what I'm
you
talking
make
about.
your choice. So if you gonna make the choice to be an idiot,
Hey, look older
As
than us.
simple as that.
She
Read
got older
Marcus
kids.
Garvey. Dr. Martin Luther King wrote 5 books. Read any of those.
How old is she?
These are the books I would start with.
Oh, that's
Kwame
what I said.
Ture
She do look like older than
and
us.
Charles B. Hamilton's book Black Power. Check that out. Some new book, John Kerry's book.
No, I didn't say she looked 44. I
Every
just said she looked older. We look younger than what we should.
is extra.
You know what I mean? If
John
I tell
Kerry,
people my
everything
age
is
all the
extra.
time,
He's
they're like,
talking
no
about
way.
his time in politics, and he was an
That's what I'm saying, younger
anti-war
than
Jew.
40. I'll give you that.
You know,
but
in the
we
book,
look younger than
he's wrote
35.
with John Lennon and doing anti-war
Think about that.
protests.
We look in
and
our 20s.
it's a good read to see where the 60s, how the 60s radical mind
Right.
became
That's a good thing, though. Less
state.
stress.
Yeah.
All these other people out there
whatever
overworking
he is,
themselves,
powerful
waking
in
up
the
every
world,
morning,
right?
stressing
When he
their
wrote
mind,
his
their
memoir, I was
brain.
reading
He went from a
For
radical
a
to
damn piece of paper,
to
and you
world
wonder
leader.
why.
the
Yeah.
world leaders, right? But
You
you know
was
what?
sitting on the outside looking in. Oh, they got a good job, but they
This is
look
what happens
old
to
as
all of us.
hell.
Kwame Ture told me this.
Because of
Rest
stress.
in peace. When he was alive, he told me
Like,
that
what's Westwood is a good
eventually you
example.
become the system. If you are successful, you'll be the system. Be careful.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Be careful. You
Success is
success is
That's
the
what
system.
I'm
at
saying.
least
Agent.
that's the measurement.
Right. Right. That's
People
the
don't
measure.
know what I'm
Right.
talking about, yeah.
Wise choice of words. That's the measurement of success is the system itself. And so, you know, and again, if you know that this is a fantasy, which is the purpose of knowledge and awareness, that
Right.
you know.
Right. As long as you know.
As long as you know.
You can operate in it. You don't have
You
to
can
have
operate.
Like
fantasy,
this
bro. You
world
gotta know
stress
you
you
in.
out.
Look, the ancient saying is be in the world, but not of it.
Ooh,
Very
I like
That's
that.
the ancient saying.
Right. Now, and just, you know, because to wrap it up, but to bring it also back home, the current state of hip hop, and as one of our leaders, as someone that I look to for advice, and even being in the position that I'm in,
Trying to say that hip hop is
I often
trash.
find we're in a troubling time.
Yeah.
Troubling time because
No originalness, nothing.
in generations and times that you created and come from, substance was everything. The true essence of hip hop was we are the voices of our community, and we're going to express it and share it and create a culture for ourselves to help be sovereign. Now, materialism, capitalism, been injected. Young kids are richer than they ever been before, and I call it access to excess. I see it in every culture, but now that it's infiltrated hip hop, I got a lot of diamonds, I got a lot of cars, but
No, but
that
materialism.
concept has now overtaken the substance. There's nothing wrong with it. Our ancestors wore jewelry and loved finer things.
Crazy.
But when it becomes about that, and it becomes a competition between one man and another, and it's not competition as in combat, as showing our strength, but it's competition as showing our weaknesses.
That's right.
You know, we
Please,
went from a
God.
culture of showing how strong we
legend.
are to embracing how weak we are. I used to be a drug dealer, now I'm a drug user, and I'm embracing that. So when we used to
can't
get on
bring
each
Ron
other
Jeremy up
for
without
the
saying no
self-destruction
dick.
of
Wow.
selling each other drugs,
Don't do that,
now
Ron
we're
Jeremy. Whoever Ron
brainwashing
Jeremy- I
each
know
other
that,
without
that's
the
porn
drugs.
star.
Now we're embracing
That's
being
Ron
the
Jeremy is porn
user,
star.
being the fiend.
Yeah, the
The
foot long.
fiend is the cool
Pause.
thing. And then we have other guys on the outside
Leave the
who are
check.
trying to get a hold of the culture, but they're doing it from a
Show this
bitter
man
place
respect.
of y'all doing it wrong.
You hear this?
They're pointing
Chad
fingers
Bailey going off.
instead
I
of
don't know
trying
who
to
he
help
is.
and guide.
You just shouting out random shit.
That blame right back around. So someone as an elder statesman, someone that we look to as a leader, what is the message to the current state of hip hop to keep it going? When you
Why
see
people
something,
still like
when you see
Amanda
this
Bynes?
beautiful
That's like
picture that you painted,
every famous
somebody
people
just
know.
coming and doodling all over it.
That's
Why
like
do you say
myself,
that?
Well, they're not doing
Aristotle.
it. They're adding to the art. We saw all of this coming. Let me take
You know what I'm
way,
saying? Like,
way
I'm not gonna put an actual name on it. Like a flag.
1973. Kool Herc comes out with
I don't
his
know why people do that.
turntable
They
set
kill people
in
and
a
they
place,
use it as the
small park
handle.
called 1520 Central Avenue, Bronx. He sets up his thing there. He had a few parties weeks before that, and they got so big that he took the party
That is
outside.
agreeable. Beautiful
When
day
he
talk
came
with a
out,
beautiful mindset.
I
I
was
like how
living
that
across
person
the
just
street.
said that.
1973, I lived in 1600s. I came outside, we started with hip hop parties, me and my brother Ken.
Vibrate high.
So from then we started. When hip hop started, I started. I was a b-boy, a graffiti writer. This is 73. Now, Vietnam War had just came to a close. We were still high on Shirley Chisholm.
Really?
Dr. King's blood was still
The
splattering
neighborhood
around.
cat.
Just got over Malcolm X and Medgar Evers. Well, Malcolm X was years in, but we just getting over Malcolm. Martin is right there. Medgar Evers is right
So,
there.
knocking on the
Grand
door, the
Smoke
cat?
Carmichael out the country. We're like, and so the Black Panthers just got disseminated, broke up, and now there's the gang who are trying to emulate the Black Panthers.
They're trying to show we got power because we got to protect ourselves, but they turn,
That's where the
they
original gang.
turn us on each other.
Here comes J. Edgar Hoover. I ain't gonna get it. You can look it all up.
Cohen Pro.
Here, you can look it all up.
Who? The
So,
cat?
at the end of the day, when this started, the universe, the universe,
Right.
not Sony, not RCA, not RCA, got the gun,
The universe
said,
and nature.
and nature said, this is what I want. Now, we started. KRS was started with it. We grow. All through my life, I'm rhyming, graffiti writing, breaking,
Legend.
this, that, and the other. We thought it was just going to be us.
Right.
That's what it was. It's just
You didn't know it was going to be this global $1 billion.
But after Rappers Delight,
Yeah.
it even opened our own mind. When Rappers Delight, when what we was doing in the park.
What was the time from 73 to Rappers Delight, or that boom?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Close to 7 years.
Oh yeah. Well, there were stages. You have her coming out in '3. You have Zulu Nation, '74. You have the Cold Crush, '75. You have and Rocksteady Crew.
Right.
You have Grandmaster Flash, '76. And right around '76, Flash comes out with Cutting and Scratching.
Right.
That kind of
Took it to another level.
we kind of diverted, went over here to the technology part of it all. And keep in mind, Grandmaster Flash had two other MCs. One was named Keith Cowboy, and the other one was Melly Mel.
Right.
These are the greatest MCs of all time. Not in terms of, well, of course, in terms of their skill, but because these were the first.
The father.
The forefathers. We did not know how to rhyme until Melly Mel.
And they were just digging up how cold
Right, they was battling Cold, and of course, Romantic Fantastic. And
to the first battle, Cold Cut Brothers. Yeah. That's where the word wild style is from Wildin' Out. That's where it all comes from.
I'm gonna get to that in a minute. This is because y'all should align. This is where it started. We started competing amongst ourselves. It was just a game between us.
Yes.
Right around Flash and 77, 78. Cold Crush battling Furious 5. Furious 5 battling Romantic Fantastic 5. Funky 4 plus one more. This and that. We started a little thing, on our block, and we thought it was only going to be us doing this little thing. When Rappers Delight came out, it went commercial. Everything got commercial, and we needed it to be. We are poor people.
To see our potential.
To see, when I say this all the time, when the Sugar Hill Gang said, I got a Lincoln Continental and a Sunroof Cadillac, they were speaking our dreams. They didn't have none of this. They didn't have none of this. Okay, they would.
A big God, two big cars.
Big Bang Hank was a working pizza.
Come
on.
Yeah, none of that.
Yeah, none of that. But he spoke his dreams, and those dreams were also the dreams of everybody in the hood. We want this for ourselves too. And this goes back to the idea of wanting value or wanting to adorn yourself. It's actually a form of beauty and self-expression. To say, I'm going to take a part of nature and make it beautiful on me. Whether that be diamonds, gold, silver, platinum, copper, you name it. You take wood, the shells,
all the minerals.
picture and you put, say, I'm gonna do myself, I'm gonna make myself look a certain way. There ain't nothing wrong with that
At all.
All of nature grooms itself. It's supposed to come from us chimpanzees. Well, chimpanzees all day, they spend hours doing hair.
Yeah, they lied.
Hours all day, they doing hair.
Picking each other.
They grooming. This ain't human to just want to look good. Okay? Everybody want to look
Peacocks
good.
got that flash. They just tell us out there. They let them know.
And it's a
You see me, girl?
That's right. So, you know, we gotta know. We gotta know why we are attracted to certain things. Now, man, you got me going with this peacock. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so true how nature
It's beautiful.
beautifies itself.
It does.
And communicates in the beauty.
And it's natural for us.
And it's natural.
Nature
for us.
definitely beautiful.
Right.
Real beautiful.
Right.
And that's where, you know, we adorn ourselves in these things, build ourselves up to make us look more attractive.
Back to hip hop. So the state of hip hop. I'll bring this to a close. We talked a little about the history, but the point was is that at Rappers Delight we had both cultural and corporate. Many of us stayed cultural. People like we stayed true, and the culture was not better. It was just it's a character issue. It's not better. It's a matter of what you can do. You know.
Again, 'cause a lot of people think that choice of corporate or culture. I mean, I had this conversation with Dame Dash, like independent versus, you know, corporate, like that idea of, oh, I'm protecting my culture vultures. There's that, and then corporate, you can't look at the one who chose the corporate path as the bad one.
No, they can never be bad. Corporate is not bad.
Right.
Okay.
It's just corporate.
It's just corporate. It's a different route. It's like going from the jungle to the forest, or going from sea life to land life. Nothing's bad, but you can't act like you on land if you in the sea.
That's a fact.
See, you can't act like you swimming if you in a forest.
Wow.
So for me, I'm a forest
do
dude.
it.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't
But
nothing.
there's the ways of the forest.
There's the ways of the forest. The
Yeah,
forest ain't
uh-huh.
better. I can get killed in the forest too. I can
learned
get
today.
killed in the forest too.
Throw me in that water. Bitch, I
There's
get out.
lies in the forest.
There's lies in the forest and
There go the
bees.
wind.
And the two. But every once in a while, I go to the beach and I look out into the ocean.
Right.
And I say, well, look at that.
That wind's
They're
strong.
like the whale,
Right.
but the whale, I can
Keep it.
get big. Like I can see this thing, and every once in a while, I may
It's
make
cold.
a boat out of my world and sail
Yeah, it's cold.
out there.
It ain't warm.
Well.
I'll never be a whale. Shark. You know, I'll never be that.
That
You
is.
know, in this case, I'm a guy from the woods. So the corporate. let me
What
say
you think?
this.
You rather be a corporate
Real
or
honest, I can be
corporate?
real transparent. I'm gonna end.
You going corporate? Not a corporate, but also with a person that
I go in the end.
who are like dogs in their own culture, they're not
And
sold
there's
out.
nothing wrong with
That's
that.
why KRS is
You don't have to sell out for money,
because
y'all.
I noticed my brothers
It's not worth
who
it.
went
Sell your soul for $1, you never get
they
it
have
back.
no power to help the culture.
Because corporate is where the dollar is.
Not just
That's
the
the
dollars
problem.
where thinkers are. It's not the thinkers are not in culture, but when you are successful at thinking culturally, you become corporate.
Even with the education system.
Even with everyone, you become corporate. You enter this realm, and it's so funny because that's your this is
Yeah, and
your
it's cold.
you made.
Right.
You know, we made our recording industry. You know what I mean? Like we made that. You know, we rearranged the rules of the music so that we can be in it.
Right.
When they allowed the wrong
Okay,
people in there
so
to control it.
There's
Now
no
they control
complaint
it to
with
this day.
corporate. Our corporate
You
hip
don't
hop
see
is
no,
corporate.
like,
And it's an achievement to get there.
can't
And
say
it's
certain
achievement to
words.
get
If you
there.
don't show none of the why, you know what I mean? The others rapping and
It's an
making
advantage.
for the culture, they just
You
take
know,
the
in my
money.
instance, in this instance,
They control them behind
you
the
have
scenes.
to
Trust
be
them.
comfortable with not being recognized. That's the problem that I noticed.
They do
on
none
so
of the
many
work
of
but
it.
want the glory.
That imagine what you just said. You made a masterpiece painting. Masterpiece.
And then
Everyone
somebody else
already
takes
said
it.
it was a masterpiece. It already went around the world as a masterpiece.
A masterpiece.
Then you gave it to your children. You didn't give it to someone else. You gave it to your
Now
son and
somebody else
daughter.
takes your
And they
masterpiece.
punched a hole in it. But it's your son or daughter. Okay, that's your kid. Okay? There ain't nobody to blame. it punched a hole in your masterpiece. Now,
And said, look,
That's
it's
good.
art.
and said, look, it's still art.
Hell yeah, the
Look what
rice.
I
You can
did.
smell the
Look what I
rice
did.
and
I
the
shot it out.
sauces and the seasoning.
Now here's what that. Now here's what the parent got to do. Okay, change your perception.
That's what
You
you
don't have
said.
to give
Like
up.
if you want to see a cook show,
But
so
the
down.
child sees that as art. See it as art as well. See it. Why? Because
Who
we
don't like
learned
food?
this lesson already. Stefan Sonic taught the lesson, talking all that jazz. You said it wasn't art. Now we're gonna review up art. Stop. Check it out, my
Right.
man. Go back, listen to those lyrics, and you will see what we're up against. When we came out,
Because jazz was the first hip hop.
that was it right there.
That was it?
I would argue it was blues.
Oh,
But
okay,
Let them be in love.
at least it
Nah, I don't know about
Right.
that one.
it's jazz and all the jazz.
No, I'm talking about that bag.
But they wasn't trying to hear that.
At all. Because there was a skill level to being a musician.
Musicianship, you got something playing it. We playing computers and
I
you
couldn't
say
do
you're
it.
a musician.
Pulling records.
You playing a record and saying you're a musician. I mean, look how bizarre.
That's like today, producers, all they know how to do is drag and click.
Yo, I've
Zip.
been producers on phones.
They getting all the glory.
Who am I to
So
say,
to say that that's not art.
I
Sounds good. To me, it's a
If
frequency.
if
I'm
it's
on
a-
it.
if-
Drag and click.
So I
Let
don't have
me
to say,
rap.
listen, I'm going to get the SP12 and MPC60. I'm going to go and do my thing. I can still have that.
You can do both.
But here's the thing. This is what I'm noticing. This is more of a
That would
message
be fun,
to
though,
the
to
people
produce
from my,
beats.
or in my
Right.
consciousness, so to speak. Those who want to keep it with the culture.
Right.
You got the front door open too?
Keep in
Why?
mind that the
Yeah,
culture
like it's not winter.
need us to keep it alive. The culture is everlasting. Our culture been with us for millions of years. We didn't talk paleoanthropology here. It was,
Yeah, well, that'll be on the next game. But
yeah, but
Yeah,
then
which one you want?
goes back
They get kicked out of here.
Okay, the basis of what hip hop is.
Cooking.
Speech, art, and the manipulation of nature. We call it DJing.
That'd be crazy if technology got so crazy you could smell things through the phone or through a recording device.
basic to us.
You would be in trouble.
But what,
Especially if
what we
someone
gotta
stinks.
look at
Turn that off, turn that
our
off.
children, they are being created, and they're being created
Facts,
in the
though.
environment
You
in
don't think
which
so?
they're.
Turn that off.
If I may be
Smell you through the phone.
for a moment, when KRS-One in the 80s was saying, you must learn, and we laid out that,
And he's 59. He
we
really been
said,
around.
why is that? And we said all of this.
He don't look 59.
Most of
He look
the
like
rap
he's in his
community
40s.
was against it. The executives of record companies and magazines, they were against it. They weren't.
You know who he sound like?
And they weren't for
One
it,
that
not
had
because
the
the
Lion
message
King
was
voice
not
that passed away.
true or deep.
Pretty soon.
It was because I appeared to be institutionalizing hip hop by
You don't want to be
adding
institutionalized. Man, people are
by
institutionalized to
saying,
this day. I'm
let's all
tired of
come
it.
together on a stop the violence. That was seen by some as threatening. That KRS-One is going to now unite all of hip hop. We all got to be under him. And I heard that argument. I speak to my brothers all the time. They can't.
yeah,
go
like,
forward.
who are you?
Who are you? Straight up. And I need that conversation, but I didn't bring it to the people. And I said, listen,
I had a door locked.
it's not me that needs to lead. I'm more of a priest type. I'd rather make a lead and put that person forward. But I'm willing to lead. No one else is. I know exactly what our culture is. Exactly. Go back to the Stop the Violence speech. That's the beginning. Right there. We need peace in our culture first. Establish peace first. Peace is me and you got to argue with each other.
Right.
We got to stop. We got to come to a peace first.
Right.
I wonder if he worked yesterday. You
That's
think
what
he
Stop
did?
Violence was about. I took it up to Humanization Against Lies.
I hope he ain't,
Actually,
your
Stop
dad
the
ain't
Violence
trying to
movement
use him when he
inspired
need him.
all
Say,
of the
nah,
same
you better set
Big
schedule.
up to
The
everybody.
West Coast.
West Coast, they
Yeah.
they hold thing. And
Instead
gang
of,
violence.
oh, I need you
on the
Tuesday,
West
I need
Coast,
you
the troops,
Thursday.
the Crips, the real dudes came together.
That's what I'm saying. 'Cause that's what it seemed like, and he called as soon as he wanted his car back. He
If
called
the
him.
true founders of the Crips and the Bloods denounced it and called the truth.
And out here, it's completely different. You know, where even it's.
Or at
it's
least
more,
let them,
it's more
or be like, say, if you know,
Well, I've ran into a few brothers, and the business is hard.
and it goes back to the idea of unions
Right.
and mafia, which is
Okay.
solid business.
Look, don't give it away. This is a public forum. Okay.
Am I giving too much game away?
the way he acting,
This
he
is,
on
this
top
is,
of it.
you're right on it. This is what's going
He's
on
calling right away.
now with brothers, gangs. What you can call gangs.
And getting back to the origin of why we
Like
created
as
them
soon
in
as
the
it
first place.
was almost 1 o'clock, as soon as that came close, he was calling. Right.
In a community organized, and that we should. But I'm trying to put a period on the state of
But
hip-hop.
it's on.
It's ongoing because we're not gonna put a period on this because we're
But you-
on hip-hop.
Yeah, and you touched on so many topics. This probably is setting the record for the amount of gems in one Cannon's glass, and we put that up there on the screen. Again, another accolade for you. But and we will continue this conversation. But I feel like you gave us so much wisdom, and honestly, just what you've instilled in me, what you continue to instill. I just want to continue this dialogue and know that this is what this class is all about. And I put people in that seat right there, from my professors to, my peers, but only for people that I respect and want to learn from. And like I said, there's so many more conversations. We're just gonna have this one. Yeah. It's part one. And to know that, as you said, that there's certain books that just don't exist. This is the new book.
This is the new book. This is how it was. This book, 4 books.